Medieval Madness by Williams Electronics is one of the most popular and loved pinball machines of all time. Currently, at the time of this recording, it is ranked number 1 on the Pinside Pinball Top 100 list. Known for its humorous theme and exploding castle, it remains a timeless classic, admired by the new pinhead and revered by the old collector. So, let's take a journey through the history of Medieval Madness.
Bow for the kingdom!
Released in June of 1997, Medieval Madness was designed by Brian Eddy and programmed by Lyman Sheets. The most noticeable element of the playfield is the animated castle, which can raise its gate and lower the drawbridge. One of the game's primary objectives is to destroy a total of 6 castles by hitting the castle's entryway with a pinball. With enough hits, the gate will rise, and shooting the ball into the castle entrance creates a flurry of explosive effects and accompanying points. Medieval Madness also features 2 hidden trolls that pop up during certain gameplay modes.
My trolls will stop you!
Other objectives can be scored by shooting the left and right ramps, the left and right orbits, and the catapult ramp in the lower left corner of the playfield. Experts try to achieve Battle of the Kingdom, the game's wizard mode, by destroying the King of Pain and restoring order to the land. Brian Eddy had to be mindful of the space taken up by the mechanisms underneath the playfield because they limited the number of toys he could put into the game. One reason drop targets were rarely seen on games of the 90s was their cost, money which could be spent on bigger, better, and more toys. The budget for Medieval Madness was about $1,400, most of which went into the cabinet and the electronics, leaving just over $200 for the playfield. The choice of a ball button instead of a plunger saved $5, which was used on adding the dragon. Split ramps were added as a simple and effective solution to stop a failed ramp shot from draining down the middle, a solution patented by Williams. Looking at the things he would have changed, Brian cited the Merlin saucer as the one part he wished he'd had the time to develop to make it more reliable. Lyman Sheets was the programmer on Medieval Madness. Starting as a player in college, he worked for Data East as a display programmer before moving to Williams, where he would first work with Brian Eddy on Attack from Mars. For Medieval Madness, Lyman first got various toys working so that a game plan could be created and the rules fleshed out. A feature which didn't make it into the game was peasants wheeling up a Trojan rabbit when battling the King of Pain. Lyman claimed the humor in the game transcends language barriers that could be enjoyed across the world. He described Williams' programming as disposable software, code that was written for the game production only with no real need for change or bug fixes. Sound designer Dan Forden worked on the speech, music, and sound effects in the game. Dan admitted that the game was basically Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which he claimed obviously gave us lots of stuff to steal, such as the mad Frenchman and the old lady with the creepy voice. For the speech, Dan realized they would need a lot of funny voices, and were not humorous enough to do the work themselves. Dan had seen a show in Chicago by a group of performers called Second City, which he was impressed by. He approached 2 members of the group and got them to write and perform most of the speech in the game, creating and refining characters. Working with the Second City group was so successful, they used them again in No Good Gophers to write and perform some of the voices. Tina Fey, from Saturday Night Live, also voiced the Cockney and singing princesses, as well as the cackly old maid.
Save me, I'm a bloody princess!
Art was done by Greg Freres. When the Medieval Madness started design, Greg was working on Williams slot machines, a division which had gained significance to the company. Brian asked Greg to work on the game, and although he was busy with his slots work, he agreed despite his reservations about the medieval theme. One of the most challenging parts of the game was the castle. Greg worked with the sculptor to design the castle and shape the turrets with the intention of making it look evil by adding skulls embedded in the castle walls. But for Greg, the biggest challenge was to find a name for the game. With over 150 names that they had created, early options included Castle Storm, Kingdom Quest, and Castle Siege. Greg's chosen approach was to work out sketches and concepts and hand them off to John Yusi to create the final product. Once Greg had produced a basic layout and primary sketches of the backglass and cabinet, John produced the full images. Fun fact, the backglass shows the game name as Medieval Madness, while the sides of the cabinet show Ye Olde Medieval Madness. Medieval Madness was an immediate critical success, earning well on location and achieving widespread popularity among collectors. With a production run of only 4,016 units, demand for the machine soon outstripped supply significantly. Currently, on online marketplaces, the machine sells for about $8,000 to $10,000. 15 prototypes were built, featuring small art and hardware changes that have sold for $20,000. In March of 2015, the Chicago gaming company released a remake version of the classic game. The remake boasted an XL display, original Williams display artwork at 4 times the resolution, and over 2,000 frames reanimated to create a full-color display with 4 times the number of dots. Also, the Royal Edition came with this sweet topper. The remake has been met with equal praise with its predecessor. If it ain't broke, remake it. Digital versions of the game also exist, with Medieval Madness included as part of the Williams Volume 1 tables for Pinball FX3 on October 9th, 2018. Visual Pinball, a community-run project, also recreated the table, allowing for mods and improved physics. Medieval Madness is a fan favorite and easily claims its spot as one of the greatest pinball machines of all time. Players today still crave saving princesses and crashing castles just as much as they did in 1997. It's likely you can find this game at a popular arcade or a friend who is generous enough to let you test out their personal collection. Either way, Medieval Madness is here to stay, long after medieval times have gone. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe so I know to keep making more videos like this one. Leave a comment for the next game you'd like a history of.
Medieval Madness is an exciting game to play.